Awesome. So we're here in a beautiful state, Louisiana, here at Southeastern Louisiana University, with the lovely Candy Christophe that is running for running for Congress for the
Yes.
District 5 of Louisiana.
Yes.
What does it mean? How does it feel to be making history, being the first elected congresswoman, the first elected Black congresswoman in the state of Louisiana?
Well, you know, as you are growing up, you don't realize that God is preparing you for the journey that you're on. And so I look at it as if you're going through driving a car, you're looking through the windshield. And every now and then you look through that rear view mirror to see where you've come from. And so when I look back through that rear view mirror of life, I can see where God has had his hands on me to prepare me for such a time as this. Some people ask, how can I be so courageous? How can I be so brave? Especially at a time like this when there's so much divide and unrest. But I don't look at it as being brave. I look at it as fulfilling my purpose for which I was created for. And I am strong in my faith. I am God-led. And so when we say I'll give my life to God, I'll do what he wants me to do, I'll serve where he wants me to serve, that's what I meant. And so if this is what he would call me to do, I'm happy to do it.
Powerful, powerful words. And then what are some of the things that we can do, and just to cut it straight to the point, what can we all do to help make sure you achieve that?
Everybody can know someone that is in District 5. It consists of 24 parishes, all the way from the Monroe area, East Carroll, West Carroll, all the way through central Louisiana, and then it swings over to the Felicianas, all the way to the Mississippi line. It's the largest congressional district. Help us by making sure everybody that you know goes out to vote that lives in that district. Also, there's phone banking. We also have those that can't phone bank. You can drive if you're in the area. There are lots of ways to connect. Go to our website, candychristopheforcongress.com, and you can sign up there or call us at 318-542-6125. If you're out of the country, not out of the country, but if you're out of the district and you would like to contribute, you can also hit that donate button. We also have a Cash App, Candy, C-A-N-D-Y, the digit 4 Congress. And so those are some ways that people can help.
Good. And then to my knowledge, is it currently elections are open now?
This is a special election. And it's a special election because of the passing of the former elected candidate. And he never did take the oath, so the governor declared a special election. And at that special election, anyone can throw their hat in. As you are aware, I did run in this race last time, and I openly confessed at the beginning that I felt led to run. And I asked God, was his assignment with me for this race? And I got no, that it wasn't. So out of obedience, I'm in the race again.
And God bless. God bless.
Thank you.
With that being said, and just to make sure everybody knows, so the special election, I believe everyone can vote.
Yes.
Currently, when's the deadline?
The early voting is going on right now from March the 6th through March the 13th. So early voting is going on right now, and it'll go on to the 13th. But our victory day, election day, is March the 20th. And so if persons are not going to be able to be in, underlying health conditions, coronavirus issues, then they need to request their mail-in ballot. And they can get that mail-in ballot from their voter registrar's office. They can drop it off or they can mail it in. However, make sure that that vote is cast.
Definitely. So make sure you do your part. You know, we see that the train is running fast, the train is running strong
Yes.
to have the first Black congresswoman elected in Louisiana.
Yes.
Make sure everyone does their part. One of the things that's very interesting is your professional background as a licensed social worker, also as a licensed addiction counselor. One of the things that is a big topic in our community, being in the Black community, is mental health and mental health awareness.
Yes.
What are some of your thoughts on that?
Well, as a licensed clinical social worker and a licensed addiction counselor, I'm no stranger to mental health or crises of people that have emotional or behavior issues. And with the COVID virus and the pandemic, a lot of people have had to isolate. And for some people with mental health conditions, isolating is not well. Isolating causes triggers for depression for them. If someone is having a hard time, I recommend that you go get help. If you had a car and a vehicle broke down, you would take it to a auto mechanic. Even today, if you have a vacuum cleaner that is broken, you would take it to the vac shack. If something is going on and you're not feeling right in your mind or in your behaviors or emotion, it makes good sense to go see a psychiatrist or a social worker so that you can get that taken care of as well.
Definitely. And I'm sure the medical community wants you to know, do not be afraid of doing that.
Don't be afraid. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, help is available. Help is available. So why not take advantage of the God-given medication to be able to help us live life and live it more abundantly?
And how would you consider in some, maybe not just in Louisiana, but across America, some of the reactions to people where maybe there's a police reaction to a mental health illness or an event? What do you think are or a conversation about that between the reaction of either treating someone more like a patient or treating someone more like a criminal?
I think that we need to have a different protocol. Whenever the police are called, they are called out at the heightened level of security and protection. Not every call requires deadly force to be present. And so I think that they need to start asking the question with this emergency call, is the person suspect of mental health issues? And if so, I think that they need to come prepared with a clinician to do that. It would be wise for all of our legal departments, our policing departments, to look at having mental health professionals on each shift. And that way, if a call does come and it's suspect to be, or it's reported to be mental health, possibly, then you have a clinician right there on staff to do that.
Good. And a lot of other communities also kind of have the detriments of substance abuse effects and the process of their treatment. What do you think are some steps to improve what's going on in the community in regards to substance abuse?
We've got to do something different to get our youth, the younger generation, involved. Once upon a time, it was just say no. Just say no lasted a little while, and then you have that break there. But we've got to do something to get people more opportunities to be able to live the American dream. Some people start into substances for occasional relief of stress. That occasional relief of stress by using an illegal substance will then become a habit, and that habit will lead to an addiction, and that addiction will lead to crime. And so if we can, one, learn how to deal with our stress from here on up appropriately, and then provide the avenues for support if it's additional stress from unemployment or from schooling or from some domestic issue, let's see if we can have the support that they need to be able to handle it appropriately.
And that's good that now we're talking about growth and the support and opportunities that people are seeing. What are some of the things that you're looking to contribute in office, especially for empowering women of color?
Well, one, I am looking at sharing all that I have learned from this campaign trail and running for office, and I am an open book. My grandmother once told me one time, you find yourself between a rock and a hard place for 3 reasons. The first reason is there's a lesson to be learned. We may not all the time see it. We may not even want to know what the lesson is, because sometimes it can be so harsh to us at the time. But there's a lesson to be learned from it. The second reason is because that experience come to make you stronger. And whoa, won't that experience come to make you wiser? So there's a lesson to be learned. It comes to make us stronger and wiser. And the third reason for me is why I'm such an open book and why I'm so willing to help and share. She said the third reason you find yourself between a rock and a hard place is because God has already predestined your path to cross with someone else's. And they're going to need you to share with them your experiences so that they can get unstuck where you got stuck at. And so sharing my life experiences, the triumphs, the barriers, the landmines that we've hit along the way, looking at programs and looking at it and deducing it all the way down to how that is going to be implemented in the community. What are those potential barriers? And then looking at any bill or legislation that we pass and seeing how this is going to affect the everyday mom, dad, child is my contribution. And I think that's exactly what we need in Washington right now. Not to make laws and rules and spend money without seeing how it's going to trickle down to the everyday person.
Good. And how do you think are some of the ways to keep the youth motivated, whether it be young adults or the minors, to keep both the young daughters and the young sons of our community motivated?
We have got to have them at the table with us. We've got to mentor and model what we want them to see. My husband shared with me that he remembered when he was a little boy, his mom took him with her in the car, and they went and voted. And because he remembered going to see her vote, he knows internally that that's something that I need to do. If we want our children here on up to be civically minded, to be engaged, to be the leaders in the areas that we need today, then they've got to be at the table with us. They've got to go to that city council meeting with you. They've got to go to the voting polls and help pull the lever with you. They have got to be at the debates with you. They've got to be walking the streets with you. We can't leave them at home to their devices, on their TVs and on their phones, and expect them to grow up and have this. We've got to have them along the way with us.
Got to put boots on the ground.
Got to put boots on the ground. No matter what size, they've got to be on the ground.
Definitely, most definitely. And then to wrap up, one of the things, especially I'm sure, striving in this campaign, being the first Black congresswoman elected from the state of Louisiana, some of the things that we're seeing is that Asian Americans are also facing a lot of racial backlash today. You've seen through the celebrity Jeremy Lin even speaking about it. What are some of words of advice or words of wisdoms that you would give to the Asian community that kind of in our insight where we've struggled with racial backlash before, to really prosper for the situation, overcome it? I say, one, it is most unfortunate that any person has to go through the racial down-putting or the racial slurs, etc. It's most unfortunate. We live for a day when we will not have that. And in my commercial that we just did for our campaign, one of the things that our theme was unity among our diversity. And I really believe that it is our differences that makes us stronger as a country, as a group, as a people, when we use it to uplift and to build one another. And so I believe that, my advice to any culture or any racial group that is undergoing racial discrimination, remember who you are and remember whose you are. Because my faith tells me from the Christian Judeo religion that God came and he died so that we all could have life, and we all could have that life more abundantly. And that's not some, that's all. And it also tells me that Jesus came so that no one would perish. That means no one, irregardless of your race, your creed, your color, who you love or who you are. You're valued, you're valuable, you are important, and God has you here. Your higher power has you here to contribute in some meaningful way. I believe individually and collectively, we all are charged with making this world a better place than we found it. And so my quest to them would be, look inside yourself and ask yourself, where is your passion? What makes you excited? What makes your heart skip a beat? Where do you thrive well at? And be the best that you can at it. And while you're there, get as many people to help you along the way to do that. And before you look around, you'll see that you will have influenced others. And because of you, they will be stronger and more advanced in their path that God has for them. And so my ultimate message is continue on, knowing that you are valued, you're worth it, you're important, and you have a reason for being. And if I can ever, personally or professionally, do anything to help, I'm only a phone call away. Amazing, amazing. And yes, ma'am, God said that he does know his stars by name, and he said, Candy Christophe, I want to see you in Congress.
All right.
Awesome. So you guys know where to go to support. We do need action. We need boots on the ground.
Yes.
You go to Candy Christophe for Congress.com.
Yes.
What is the phone number for them to call as well?
318-542-6125, and Cash App is Candy, $ Candy, CANDY, for Congress.
Yes.
Okay, and while I'm at it, I just want to say to help Matthew, go through his primary fundraising link below.
Awesome, thank you. I think I just ended there. Good. Awesome.